story. But for now, we are shifting focus to some breaking news that's coming in. And Prime Minister Modi is chairing a crucial review meeting. This is over Cyclone Biparjoy. The West Coast, remember, is bracing for this particular cyclone. It could go on for about 10 days or so, is what the Met Department has also been saying. Remember, Biparjoy had turned into an extremely severe cyclonic storm. Both Gujarat and Maharashtra are on alert. The Prime Minister, too, now holding consultations with all the stakeholders to ensure that the minimum damage is something that is looked at. The damage can be reduced to a minimum, and efforts are on to fight this even in the aftermath, which is why the Prime Minister there is getting a briefing of what exactly the status of this particular cyclone is and what the steps are being taken. Pallavi, my colleague, getting us more details of Prime Minister's review meeting. Yes, Pallavi.
Yes, so as you can see, the Prime Minister is also accompanied by the Home Minister. He's very much there, a part of the briefing, and apart from that, of course, all the officials and keeping a close watch. And there's a PowerPoint presentation which has been shown. And in that PPT presentation, what is essentially being pointed out is what are the critical areas, what are the steps which have been taken, and what can be the possible damage in case a landfall takes place. Now, the prediction, as you've been pointing out, is 11th to 15 is actually the critical time, and Kutch and Saurashtra regions of Gujarat, largely the coastal belt, and of course in parts of Maharashtra as well. So as a precautionary measure, first of all the beaches in these areas have been closed to tourists. Second, the fishermen have been asked to evacuate and stay away from this area. No fishing activities till the 15th. But the government's concern is that the villages which are in the adjoining areas should not be submerged with, in case there's a landfall of the cyclone. Those are the precautionary measures which have been taken. The Prime Minister has been in touch with the Gujarat CM also. The Gujarat CM, in fact, yesterday had visited the special SOP center, monitoring center in the capital of Gujarat. And, he himself had get a hands-on approach on what are the measures that needs to be taken. Those inputs are being provided to the Prime Minister, as you can see in those visuals.
Right, so several stakeholders there that are briefing the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister ensuring that all steps are taken to ensure that the damage is limited to a minimum. The landfall is likely in Gujarat is what we're expecting, which is why the entire state of Gujarat, the coastal area, is of course on high alert. But Maharashtra and Mumbai also has been facing the after effects. We've seen, Pallavi, that there have been tidal waves, really high ones at the beaches in Mumbai. The runway was also affected there at the airport, is what we were learning.
Yes, because of the kind of weather conditions, and today part of the runway, one of the runways in Mumbai is already under renovation, but because of the weather conditions, flights have been delayed. Massive cancellations also is something which they are fearing. These are the precautionary measures you take whenever you expect that landfall to take place. Strong winds, these are the main concern areas. So Prime Minister has been briefed about that. What we are initially picking up by way of our sources is that the Prime Minister in a PowerPoint presentation were told about the specific areas where the landfall can take place, and if it is taking place, which are the highly populated areas which are likely to be affected. He's also been informed about the measures which have been taken as far as the adjoining villages are concerned, how the people have been evacuated, how relief and rehabilitation measures have already been put in place. In case the landfall takes place and in case the extent of damage is massive or high, then we also require urgent medical facilities. We are told those infrastructural facilities where people need to be moved to safe camps, relief camps, all those have been taken.
Well, the Gujarat government has been taking all of those measures. The NDRF, the SDRF teams have all been deployed there as well, especially in the coastal areas. At least in six districts, we know that shelters have already been put up. Most people from those areas, from those coastal villages, have already been evacuated. 11th to 15th, like Pallavi was pointing out, are perhaps the most are the days that we should be wary of. Pallavi continues to be with us as the Prime Minister is chairing that crucial meeting. Several stakeholders there from the agencies briefing the Prime Minister as to what measures have been taken. Several districts of Gujarat, including Kutch, Devbhoomi Dwarka, Porbandar, Jamnagar, Morbi, Junagadh and Rajkot may face damages on the 15th of June, is the prediction that has been made by the Meteorological Department. Demolition of thatched and kacha houses is something that the IMD has warned of. Potential threats from flying objects, power and communication poles, uprooting of those. That is also something that the IMD has warned of, and that is something that the state governments and the local administrations must be wary of and ensure that there are measures that are put in place to combat that. The Prime Minister there chairing that crucial meeting, taking a lowdown of what the arrangements have been and in case the damage is more than expected, then what happens next. All of which the Prime Minister is being briefed. Home Minister Amit Shah also as well there. Let's take a look at some of the reports that are coming to the fore.
बिपोरजॉय साइक्लोन को लेके सारी तैयारियां हो गई हैं। फिलहाल हम कच्छ के इलाके में हैं, जो कच्छ का नलिया और जो मांडवी है उसमें काफ़ी असर दिखने वाला है। मांडवी के अंदर जो अभी समुद्र है वो आप देख सकते हैं कि किस तरह से बिल्कुल करंट देखने को मिल रहा है, इसमें जो है उछाल देखने को मिल रहा है। सामान्य तौर पे ये मांडवी का बीच बिल्कुल शांत रहता था, लेकिन आज से ही इसकी शुरुआत होगी। आपको जो समुद्र में करंट देखने को मिल रहा है। फिलहाल 2 दिन का और समय, उसके बाद जो है वो जो कच्छ से गुजरने वाला है बिपोरजॉय साइक्लोन, ऐसी बात सामने आ रही है और काफ़ी आक्रामक बन के जो आगे आ रहा है, जिसको लेके जो तंत्र है वो सारी तैयारियां कर चुकी है।
Shrishti, my colleague, also joining us to get us more perspective of what is expected. Shrishti, this could be a long-drawn one, not just limited to the landfall when the cyclone makes, but this could go on for about 10 days or so, is what the IMD has warned of?
Yes, so the cyclone had formed last Tuesday, and it has been accelerating in the Arabian Sea. It's one of those cyclones which has remained, which has continued with its intensity for almost a week, and according to IMD, it is going to make its landfall as a very severe cyclone, and there are winds speeds of about 150 km per hour, gusting up to 190 km, which could be expected. As of now, the cyclone has remained, is an extremely severe cyclone, but by the time it makes its landfall, the intensity is going to decrease. According to IMD, we can expect a landfall, between, region which is near to Pakistan, but as many as 8 districts of Gujarat could see heavy rainfall and storm surges near the coastal areas.
And we've seen the kind of effect that even Maharashtra, specifically Mumbai, has faced, Shrishti, also, isn't it? It's not just limited to Gujarat, because we've seen kind of delays and cancellations that have happened as far as flight operations are concerned, the kind of tidal waves that we've seen at most beaches along the Mumbai coast.
Yes, definitely, and the IMD has given out warnings for the coastal areas in Maharashtra as well as Gujarat and adjoining areas of Pakistan as well, and we'll have to really prepare accordingly. So the landfall could be expected around the afternoon of 15th June, so we still have 2 more days left, but the storm surges have already started happening, and there are ground teams in all these states which have been prepared for it, and the Prime Minister also had held a meeting today with the IMD chief and other senior scientists.
That meeting is currently underway even as we speak. Wind speeds are extremely high. We've seen the kind of damage that has taken place in Pakistan as well, where it's likely to make landfall, as Shrishti was also pointing out. Do stay on with me, Shrishti. Let's also take a look at this report that my colleague Janak had sent us.
साइक्लोन बिपरजॉय को लेकर अब स्थिति स्पष्ट हो चुकी है कि ये साइक्लोन गुजरात के तटीय इलाकों से गुजरेगा। उस वक्त उसकी रफ्तार 135 किलोमीटर प्रति घंटे की होगी। वो कई इलाकों में तबाही मचा सकता है। फिलहाल आपको हम विंडी की एक इमेज दिखा रहे हैं कि कैसे ये मूव हो रहा है। देखिए, आप 13 और 14 तारीख का मूवमेंट भी देख लीजिए। ये जैसे जैसे ये पास में जाता हुआ साइक्लोन आपको गुजरात के तटीय इलाकों में दिख रहा है। ये दरअसल अभी 12 तारीख है। 13 तारीख यानी कल किस तरीके से यहां पर मूवमेंट होगा वो भी देख लीजिए, और 14 और 15 पर नजर लगाइएगा। ये मूवमेंट है वो गुजरात के तटीय इलाकों को छूता हुआ, और खासतौर पे 15 तारीख को गुजरात के तटीय इलाकों को दिखता है, यहां पर दिख रहा है। और इसकी ये आपको मैं बता दूं, ये जो चीज है आपको जो रेड लाइन के साथ बीच में दिख रहा है, ये दरअसल इसकी आई है। ये इसकी आई है जो उसकी मूवमेंट फिक्स करते हैं, और वो अभी गुजरात के तटीय इलाकों में खासतौर पे इन कर्व पे और पहले ये जा रहा था मस्कत की ओर, फिर जा रहा था वो कराची की ओर, अब ये ड्रिफ्ट करता हुआ कराची की ओर, यानी अब ये इस तरीके से मूव होता हुआ दिख रहा है।
અમે લોકો ફિલ્ડમાં જવાના છે। આ તમામ વ્યવસ્થાઓમાં ખાસ કરીને નાગરિકોના સહયોગની જરૂર છે। દેવભૂમિ દ્વારકા એ કરોડો લોકોની આસ્થાનું કેન્દ્ર છે। મારી સૌ નાગરિકોને વિનંતી છે કે 16મી તારીખ સુધી આપ દ્વારકા ખાતે પ્રવાસ કરવાનું ટાળજો।
Be with us. And Shrishti, if I'm not mistaken, the landfall is expected sometime on Thursday. We're 4 days away from then, but the kind of wind speeds that have been witnessed are over 150 kilometers per hour already. So for the next 3 days as well, the situation is going to be extremely precarious as far as Gujarat is concerned.
Definitely. The wind speeds are really high, and so as of now, see, it's an extremely severe cyclone where the wind speeds can go beyond 150 km per hour. But as it's coming closer to the coast, the intensity is going to decrease. But still, to be a cyclone which is like very, very severe and to hit the coast, there could be a lot of damage. IMD also gives out like an impact-based warning now. So it says that there could be like a widespread damage to the kacha houses along the coast, and damage to the the electricity poles, and as well as all the properties which are there. The widespread damage to crops also is expected. So it's also important to note this cyclone has remained in the Arabian Sea for almost a week. So and the warming of the ocean has really fueled its strength, which is why the scientists have alerted the ground teams to be prepared for bracing the impact of this cyclone.
Which is why the NDRF and the SDRF teams are already in position there, so to say, as far as at least Gujarat is concerned. Evacuation has begun for several people that live along these coastal villages. All of them have been moved to safer ground, because even though the landfall is on Thursday and perhaps would be somewhere closer to the Pakistani coast, the impact is certainly being felt not just in Gujarat but also in parts of Maharashtra, in Mumbai as well. As far as Maharashtra is concerned, Shrishti, if you would be able to help us understand what kind of measures have been taken by Maharashtra, especially in the Mumbai area is concerned.
Yes, Mumbai area, I mean the area adjoining the city could also see some like high wind speed, which has all, I mean the rainfall has already started in certain parts, and there would be high wind speed. There are also alerts for storm surges near the coastal areas. IMD had initially said that it could be about like 2-meter astronomical tides which can be expected in that area, and the detailed forecast would follow. But as I can see, the warnings that have been issued for the Gujarat districts, the districts of Kutch, Devbhoomi, Dwarka, Porbandar, Jamnagar, Rajkot, Junagadh and Morbi districts, and the rainfall is going to increase in intensity over the next few days by the time the landfall is done. And and there'll be a squally weather for the next 3 days in all these regions.
Right, fishing activities have already been barred. The instructions that have gone on to the last man on ground as far as the state of Gujarat and Maharashtra is concerned. Most people that live in these low-lying areas near the coastal villages, they've all been evacuated to safer ground as well. All these two states can now do is wait for the next 3 days and brace for the impact. Shrishti, thank you so much for getting us.